Congratulations on the film.
Thank you very much.
How long have you guys been working together?
Too long. Yeah, 7 years. We filmed the first series in 2007. It came out 2008. That's right, isn't it? So yeah,
that's
right.
correct.
7 long years. Highs and lows.
What makes a good comedy team?
I think you've got to be mates, to be honest, and we genuinely love each other. I think that's fundamental. That's why the show has run for as long as it has.
I don't know, I think that works with us, but
Yeah.
I think a lot in the history.
Yeah,
historically.
Monty Python they don't all get on, do they?
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Actually, now every other example I can think of is...
It works
is
for
them.
us.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes that creative tension can help. I think with us, it's a kind of... We like being together. We are... I think we're greater than the sum of our parts. And I don't know why that should be. I mean, we were just... by the end of the first week on the first series, we seemed to be great mates. I don't know why that happened. I mean, it's just...
There's no explanation.
Yeah.
I look around me.
Yeah.
Why have I chosen this lot?
Christ. But yeah, it's just a nice thing. I think maybe because, it was our first, for all of us it was, well, certainly for me, it was my first almost job of any sort at all. And for the other guys, it was, it was an early job in their careers, first sort of big successful job. And I think because of that, we bonded, and that's always been there throughout the years that we've been working together.
How have the dynamics within the group changed?
Very good. I suppose the main one is...
the position of whipping boy.
The position of whipping boy. It was Joe for about 3 or 4 years, really, and it basically broke him.
Happy times for you.
It happened to me. Basically, I couldn't handle it. I sort of had a nervous breakdown, and people had to step in to protect me. And an alternative whipping boy was suggested, Blake. He's got broader shoulders and...
Yeah.
And,
although I'm coming up to that
he's
3 and a bit year mark, and I'm starting to...
Well, there's a slight change in dynamic for this second film, because also, it's not just the 4 of us, there's the 2 writers, Ian and Damon, so there's really 6 of us, and we've never really been able to get at them, have we? But for this film they were directing it, which opened up a whole new vista of
it was brilliant.
possibilities.
Now, I understand that this is probably going to be it. That you guys were reluctant about doing a sequel, read the script, stepped up, but my understanding is now that there will not be an In-Betweeners 3, that this is the end of it. How do you feel?
It's sad.
It's really sad.
But also we're so proud of the film that it feels like the right time.
We're very stubborn as well, aren't we? I mean, we won't do the In-Betweeners unless we think it's going to be good, which professionally might be sort of suicide. Yeah. But that is just how we feel. We're very passionate about the In-Betweeners.
Yeah.
We're very close to the project. It's a huge part of our lives, and it might be our biggest success, which wouldn't be a bad thing at all. So we wouldn't want to spoil that in any way.
The box office hasn't just been good in Britain. You guys have set records both times.
Yeah.
Why?
I think, well, our fans are amazing, and we seemed to click with our fans quite early, which was great. So I think the first series really it was a kind of word of mouth thing, and it grew and it grew. And I think people have taken the characters to heart. I think people now sort of almost, they know what these characters would say in a given situation. They've sort of taken ownership of them. So I think it's become something that
they support. It's like they support the In-Betweeners like a football team. They want the films to do well as well.
But there's also a connection with that portrayal of that generation.
Definitely, yeah. It's like for the teenagers in Britain, I think it's like watching a film about them. It's about normal kids, and it's based on things that really happened to Ian and Damon, and you can tell that it's based on reality. It's about being like a mundane, very average suburban teenager in Britain today.
I want to ask, what do you think are the 2 or 3 truths about the In-Betweeners comedy that connects with kids?
I think one of them is a general sense of feeling inadequate when you're growing up, and a sense that there's cool stuff going on that you can't be a part of because you don't know what the rules are for being allowed into that club. I think that's one. I think the other thing is you like to make fun of your mates,
Yeah.
That's an Aussie thing as well, I think.
And I think the third one is just the way it's a true reflection of the way people talk to each other. I think the writers don't censor themselves in terms of what they write down. I think beforehand, I'd never really seen a program or a film that would really reflect the way I talk to my friends. That you could always tell that writers were involved and they were trying to write clever jokes and come up with original dialogue. I think the dialogue in the Inbetweeners is so unpretentious and so honest, and that people appreciate that.
Rest assured that the vulgarity that you guys spout actually applies to previous generations too. In the 70s, for instance, we pretty much spoke like that as well.
Yeah.
So, in case you needed a
I think there's a universality to being a teenage boy.
Now, the film actually draws on 3 cinematic traditions. There's the ensemble comedy.
Yep.
There's the bawdy British comedy, carry-ons and so on, and the American sex comedies of the 1980s and early 1990s. Now, are you really impressed with what I just said, or am I overthinking the film?
No, I think it's
right.
spot on, and I think that for me, what is original about the show and the films is that it's a combination of those final 2. I think there'd never been a British comedy about teenagers, and that's an amazing oversight. I don't know how that hadn't happened, but Britain had never had its American Pie or its Superbad. And so that again, that's another reason that British teenagers like it, because it's something made specifically for and about them, and it's the first of its kind.
Now, the film does feature some pretty extreme scenes involving the application of human waste matter onto human faces.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, with every lover of comedy hanging on your every word, why is that funny?
Just is, isn't it? It's a great combination,
It's
isn't it? Like poo. Like you find, like honestly, I've got a 2-year-old son that finds he finds farts funny.
Yeah.
I laugh at him when he farts.
Yeah.
And that's the 2 generations there.
I think it's almost
My
primordial.
granddad, my granddad used to have a chuckle and he'd let one rip on the couch on a Sunday afternoon. I just think it's something that maybe as you get older that you don't want to admit, but it's very base, but it's safe and funny, and it's naughty, and I think that's what the Inbetweeners possibly does. It reminds everyone that it's okay to sort of laugh at these things, that you don't have to take yourself so seriously, and that's what the characters don't take them, aren't to be taken seriously at all.
Yeah, they try to take themselves seriously.
Yeah, but it's when they sort of are more honest that they get away with the stuff that they say in the poo and things like that. But I do think that stuff is just funny. It just is.
It's very hard to pin it down, I think.
Yeah.
But as you say, it's something that you find funny almost before you remember anything else.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think I'm above it. And yet, when I watch the film, I can't help but laugh at that section.
I want to ask Mike Myers a similar question, because one of his Austin Powers films involves the ingestion of fecal matter, and he said that it's a matter of just pushing the extremes of actually people confronting something that they didn't think is funny or should be funny, yet they find themselves laughing.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think comedy is so inherently honest. I mean, if you get a laugh from an audience, it might not even be voluntary, but it must have been funny, and that's a great thing about it. It's a great leveller comedy, I think.
Now, you guys are terrific, and it's really a wonderful ensemble you guys have got going, but Blake, you're special. You play stupid so brilliantly. Can you just tell us about the art of playing someone that dim?
The art of playing someone that dim. I don't know. Just believe it. I mean, it's written so well. Is the thing. It's written so well, and if you just believe that everything you're saying is right, if you develop a logic, your own kind of version of stupid logic, where you kind of make sense in your head that I can understand how you'd get addicted to chicken nuggets, something like that, which is something that Neil said before, then it's easy to believe. I don't know. I think it's just the writing's so good, and I think I have met people that are not that dumb, but there's elements of it in them, and therefore,
I've met someone like that as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Actually, quickly, how old are you guys?
Right. We are
29.
Yeah, 29. You're around 30.
Yeah, I'm
29.
I'm mid-20s.
And just as a wrap up, you are young comedians and or young actors, and you'll go on to do great things.
maybe.
With the death of Robin Williams, I'm just keen to just register what impact he had on you, what lessons he taught you about the art of comedy.
Well, he was at his height at a very formative age for us. I
Yeah.
think. You know, we were. It was an age where, when you had a video, you might. I had Mrs. Doubtfire video, and I must have watched that video, hundreds of times. So yeah, I can remember every sort of beat of that performance, and it's just brilliant. So yeah, he was a really important figure
I
for
grew
me.
up, which is quite strange for my generation, but I watched Mork and Mindy when I was a kid because in the sort of early 90s, there's a channel called Nickelodeon channel. But back when it used to finish at 7. That was the end, and the children would go to bed. But then the Paramount channel would take over, and the first thing that they'd show at 7 o'clock every evening was Mork and Mindy. So you'd watch. I think the Monkeys were on at 6:30 on Nickelodeon, which again was a weird thing to watch at my age. And then straight after it, I'd watch Mork and Mindy, and it was just he's like a powerhouse of comedy, the huge sort of ball of energy. It's very special. It was very, very special and unusual, and there isn't many people that can do that. There's,
And he inspired. So I feel like for me, he was the first person I watched where I went, oh, making people laugh is amazing. What a great thing to be able to do, and to have that as a job. What an amazing thing that would be. And I don't think we would have had Jim Carrey or like Lee Evans, who I also kind of went through like when I did like 10, 11, 12 and into my teens. I started liking those performers as well. So I don't think we would have had them if it weren't for Robin Williams. So it's such a huge loss.